really, and I want to focus in on the pricing aspect that you mentioned. Really, that is controlling pricing as a 1P, doing business with Amazon, one of the most challenging elements. And so what we found was when we hired and partnered with Falkon to eliminate all these rogue third-party sellers and listings, something very interesting happened in that we also alleviated or eliminated the upward pressure on Amazon's algorithm or pricing algorithm. And so instead of having a price that fluctuated daily by as much as $6 a day, right, all of a sudden prices came down to their intended list price, and they just stayed there. Whereas prior to working with Falkon, pricing was bouncing all over the. I'll use this one item as an example for you guys today. We have a sugar in the raw 200 count packet, and it was bouncing between $12 a day to $17 a day, down to 11. It was just all over the place. Once pricing stabilized, and really the reason it stabilized is the algorithm that does all the automatic pricing for Amazon no longer had so much noise, right? We had probably, I think, over 30 listings of the same ASIN. Some people were stealing my buy box. Some were just spinning up, similar ASINs, right? Same item, like Trades and Talk. And so once those were cleared out of the way, right, pricing came under control, and it was where I intended it to be, which was quite a bit lower. Right, pricing went down to about $10.94 on average, and then I think some of these KPIs will really demonstrate the value. First off, traffic to my page, my listing where I had the buy box, increased 20%, and conversion went from 44% to 65%. And I will tell you, just from an e-commerce perspective, when those two things are happening simultaneously, traffic is growing and conversion rate is growing. Mathematically, there's only one way for sales to go, and that is up. And so our unit sales went up 31%, right? Which is really, I think, how I measure the overall return on investment with this partnership. And it's a resounding win for us. That said, I think today's topic is really around ad spend efficiency. And look, there are some items where I literally don't have to spend at all. I went to zero, but that's probably not, the most indicative of what, right, the typical results. So I used this item just to kind of do something a little more normalized. And our advertising cost of sales, right, which is ad spend divided by ad attributed sales, it went down by about 1%, right, 17.5 to 16.6. So we are selling a lot more and spending less to do it. I think that's about as good as it gets. And honestly, I'll just say, Trajan, we so appreciate this. Was such an easy turnkey process to get started, and I think maintaining it's been even easier. So from that standpoint, we certainly appreciated all the work and effort that your team does. And really, it's probably the easiest success story I've ever authored in my career. So thank you for that. And I think to maybe give you some more ways to look at and measure this, I think the next slide, Trajan, you have a screenshot of our dashboard. I'll turn it back over to you and let you walk through this dashboard that you created. But before you do, I'll just say, I use this with our senior leadership, and it's been very well received. We've really enjoyed being able to look at some of the things you're going to walk everyone through, and it really just kind of confirms for us we made a really good decision in this partnership. So with that, I'll turn it back to you.
Yeah, thanks so much, Greg. And I always learn a lot from you and your enthusiasm. And particularly what I love about it is, if you look at our dashboard, if you're already a customer of ours and you have these dashboards, or, we pulled it up so you could have a look at it, there is, what we provide is, I guess we'll say, the state or flow of the online third-party seller activity and how it changes. For the ROI and how it's measured within your company, you know, that is yours. And that's a lot of the genius that Greg has and some of our other customers shared with us too, is what are the metrics. I think early on, when Greg and I were working together, he started sharing some of these measures with me, such as I am already, I've already paid for the whole year because I am not overspending on my advertising now. You know, I can redirect to the places I need it to go. And that was even before we got into him sharing with us like the incremental sales he felt he was able to drive as a result of having control over what he's great at. That's what he's great at.